hello there. So this was quite a short game, but there is something to be discussed about hypermodern openings and how to play them. And the point is that, yeah, as you mentioned, we're controlling the center with pieces, but controlling the center with pieces doesn't really work in the long term. Sooner or later, you will have to use pawns to break up the opponent's structure to actually create some kind of weaknesses to attack. So at the beginning was kind of fine. You fianchetto with both bishops. The opponent isn't really taking the center very principally. He's putting the bishop behind his pawn, moving a lot of pawns like this. And so this is not very challenging. So okay, knight c6, this is also a very bad move positionally, as this blocks the c7 pawn, so now black will not be fighting in the center with this pawn. It could be used to control either the d5 square or the d4 square, but now it's only controlling d6, which is not an important square. So here we played knight c3, which is the same mistake as black played. Again, we are blocking the c pawn, and with any opening, more or less, that's related to d4, and these doubled fianchettos are basically d4 openings, just with a different move order. We must use the c pawn, as without the c pawn there is no way to challenge this pawn, unless you want to play d3, e4, but then you could just play e4 and move 1 if this was your plan. So blocking the c pawn like this is most of the time a mistake. So we should not do this. Instead, c4 here would be kind of risky, though I guess it's possible. And d4 is not really playable because of the pin here, so white can take. So if d4 is not possible, on the next move white can take, and this way he will eliminate a center pawn with a flank pawn, and then maybe play d4, etc. And we will have some kind of version of the Catalan, which is usually what white is aiming for with these strange move orders. But okay, knight c3, and now this knight is very badly placed because it is not doing anything at all. d5 is defended by many things, and without pawns we will never put pressure on the square. e4 is also unavailable, so now black is better because he will be able to finish his development and consolidate. So now you're moving the same knight twice, but for a reason, because this knight is very badly placed, so it must go somewhere else. Though trading itself for a knight that has only moved once is not very productive. But though I guess there's not much else to do here. And with this piece configuration, now that you've not played c4, I guess the only way to strike in the center would be with e4 to not get a worse position with white. Because if we don't challenge the center, again black will consolidate and we will simply be worse because of the lack of space. So knight b5, black chases away the knight, but it's going here anyway. I guess black could just develop, and let's see, if you go here, he can take, you will take with something, and he will take the center, and black is definitely better here, as he has a lot more space in the center, and white is struggling while the pieces are only developed on 3 ranks. So this is why, again, for the don't know which time, I wouldn't suggest playing hyper-modern openings, as they're very hard to handle, especially when we don't yet have a good grasp on opening principles and normal control of the center, which is usually with pawns for first and foremost. Okay, a6. So here the opponent blundered a fork, and yeah, you took the bishop, but this is a good exchange because of a simple rule in chess: bishops are better than knights. You don't have to know much else than this. So this is definitely a good exchange. Plus, white has less space. You have 0 pawns in the center. Black has a lot of them, so it makes sense to exchange pieces. For example, if you go here and the bishop and knight remain on the board, now this knight is badly placed, blocking the bishop. So it's good to exchange. So knight c6. Of course, black should have just played bishop b7 to stop this, and then c5 or e5. And black is definitely better, as he has developed the pieces and he has the good control over the center. After c5, now you took the dark squared bishop, so white has the bishop pair, and especially this unopposed dark squared bishop, which is quite a good piece. And now finally c4, which is definitely a good move to open up the diagonals and to try to destroy the opponent's pawn center. Here he takes with the knight, which is maybe somewhat inaccurate, Taking with the bishop would take away the light squared bishop from white, taking away the bishop pair, which would be a good exchange for black. And after this, for example, white is still somewhat better because he can play d4, getting rid of the backwards pawn. And with the bishop against the knight, white is a little bit better in this slightly open position. But after this, e4 is played, but e4 is a kind of a positional mistake, blocking the bishop, though objectively I guess this is still fine because on the next move you will play d4, though I guess d4 could be played anyway, again fighting for the center before it's too late. Okay, this is fine, d4, he takes, but now after queen d4 this is a fork, and white is going to win an important pawn, after which this one will also be a weakness. So here, of course, black should stop checkmate, not the pawn. This is a typical case for black of seeing the threat and defending from the threat, but he did not look for the opponent's, which is yours, forcing moves, right? So b5 defends the pawn, but forgets about checkmate, so quite a quick game. So, well played by white, but yeah, of course, knight c3, moving around the knight so many times was perhaps not ideal. And I am not sure why you like these hyper-modern openings so much, as they are quite hard to handle, and objectively they are no better than normal classical openings. Probably it's better to start with the basics. Just put some pawns in the center and then start playing. But in either case, it's quite a decent game. So congrats to you, and good luck next time.